we may not realize how much we depend on satellites orbiting our planet. There are about 6,000 satellites currently orbiting the Earth, out of which about only 40% are operational, with the rest of the 60% being space junk. These operational satellites are responsible for many things we rely on in the modern world, such as communications, television, and access to the internet. But what would happen if the satellites suddenly stopped working? Today, we will be taking a look at this scenario and how it impacts our lives. But before we begin, be sure to subscribe to our channel for more content ahead. There are many cases in which our space infrastructure could be under a serious threat. For example, a massive solar storm or a cyber attack could potentially take out all satellite communications. Or perhaps space debris colliding with Earth monitoring satellites may cause a chain reaction, messing up our entire space infrastructure. Whatever the case may be, the consequences would be dire. The immediate consequence of this would be the loss of radio and television that is broadcast from satellites. So international programming would come to a halt immediately. The internet along with phone lines would stop working as well. And without the internet, there will be major problems with communications across the world. Global tensions would be at an all-time high since the failure to secure satellites' communication systems would leave soldiers, ships, and aircrafts cut from their commanders and at risk of attack. Another devastating consequence of this would be the loss of Global Positioning System or GPS. So people traveling by air, land, or sea would be in major trouble. For example, planes in the sky wouldn't be able to navigate without any air traffic control and would have to rely on analog instruments and maps to determine their location. The same will be true for ships and land vehicles. But air traffic controllers would have the most difficult task out of these three forms of travel, since planes without navigation and timing services would be at major risk of crashing. So within hours, most of the planet's traffic would grind to a halt due to all these hazards. But the effects of this are not just limited to travel and entertainment. Our current infrastructure heavily relies on super accurate satellite-based timing systems, without which every network controlled by computers will be at risk. From heating and cooling systems to assembly lines along with traffic control systems will all be out of sync within a matter of a few hours. The loss of traffic control systems would drastically increase the chances of accidents all around the world, resulting in many unnecessary deaths. But that's not all. World economy would also grind to a halt in a matter of a few hours. This is because satellite-based timestamps play a crucial role in complex financial transactions. So people would be unable to complete any electronic transactions or even withdraw cash. The supply chains of goods such as food and medicine would also break down, leaving people to survive on whatever is available locally. This would set our civilization back at least decades in the best case scenario. It would be like living in the 1800s, which may not be the best alternative for most people to say the least. But we would most likely be able to replace all these things without using satellites. It wouldn't be very simple, since most of the traditional communication systems of the mid-20th century would have to be rebuilt from scratch. Nonetheless, it could be done if we had no other choice. But as scary as this scenario may seem, it is highly unlikely. So we can all just relax and hope for the best. And that brings us to the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, do leave a like, share, and subscribe. Until then, we'll see you in the next one.